Hey, boss, how are you?
Hey, Karen.
I'm always happy when I get on here.
Yeah.
Lance Landgraf, hey,
Hello there. How we doing?
all's good.
Afternoon, Commissioner.
Afternoon. It is an afternoon, isn't it? Feels like one of those days. The morning never ended.
Hey, Lynn, I got you. Can you unmute and check your audio?
Can you hear me?
Now I got you. Thank you.
Testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2.
Got you loud and clear, Mike.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Mike,
Hey, Len.
Hey, Dennis, I got you. Can you give me a mic check?
Test 1, 2.
Loud and clear. Thanks. Got you.
Thank you.
Paul, we see you. Can you unmute and give me a mic check, please?
How about that? Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear and can see you fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Rick, checking in.
Hey, Rick, I got you loud and clear.
Thank you, sir. Wow, is that Sid Morgan I see a picture of? You can't see me, but I'm here.
They've got some chimes or music in the background of their video. I don't know if that's you, Paul.
Is it off now?
Yep, that's better. You were freezing up the microphones.
Sorry. Really? Freezing up everybody's microphone?
As soon as if you try and unmute, I couldn't unmute until it got quiet for half a second. Riley, Sarah, can you unmute and give me a mic check, please?
Riley checking in.
Thank you very much, sir. What are you having to drink, Paul? We can hear the ice cubes clinking.
Water. Water with a shot of lemon.
Sounds good. Deputy Mayor, I have 1 p.m.
All right, give me 1 second. Sorry, trying to turn my phone off so it doesn't keep buzzing and ringing during the meeting. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to our June 17th council meeting. Can we please rise for the flag salute? Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America
and
and
to
to
the republic
for which it
for which it
stands,
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Will you please remain standing while Councilwoman Karen Bugh leads us in prayer? I think she's muted.
Sorry about that. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting in these unsettled times. Help us engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of our community. Guide us as we make decisions that will affect the residents of our great city. We place your hearts and our minds in your hands so that you may direct us. Amen.
Amen. Lynn, can we have the Open Public Meetings Act announcement?
This is to advise the meeting notices covering this meeting have been sent and posted as required under the Open Publics Meetings Act.
Perfect. All right, can we have approval of the 6/3/2020 council meeting minutes? Is there a motion
I'll make
second?
that motion. I make that motion.
Second.
All right, any comment? All right, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Thierry,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
Lucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We have approval of payroll requisition list and operating expenses. Is there a motion and second?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Thierry,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
Lucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, can we open up for public comment? And this is public comment on agenda items only. Anything on the agenda, this is your opportunity to speak for that. We'll have a second open comment at the end, and you can talk about any topic then. Seen anybody, Jim?
I have nobody that's trying to get my attention, Deputy Mayor.
All right, then we're going to close public comment at this time. All right, next up, we have ordinance number 5 of 2020, and this is the introduction of a land use ordinance. We have a motion and second.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, perfect. At this time, I'd like to ask our city planner, Lance Landgraf, to kind of go over, I guess, what we're doing with this ordinance.
Certainly. Thank you, Deputy Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me this afternoon. Very simply, we are amending the land use regulations to kind of catch up with the master plan that was done a few years ago. The bulk of what we did was a lot of definition work, a lot of reorganizing the notes. If you recall, we had notes in a lot of the residential districts that were almost identical in each zone. So what we did was we took those and put them in a section that was relevant to all residential districts. A lot of the definitions dealt with changing things to the new height restrictions, the base flood elevations, really, where you measure things from. Not a significant amount of changes to the zones, and certainly none of the boundary limits. But we did clean those up quite a bit. Last time I think they were amended was in 2008. Might have that off by a year or so, but significant changes back in the early 2000s. So from that aspect, we're really cleaning these up. These should be a lot easier for both developers, residents, and our planning board to follow through with what the master plan had designed for the municipality moving into the next 10 years.
Perfect. Is there any questions or comment from council? All right. And just to let people know, this is an introduction. The document we looked at is about 200 pages long, so we have, I believe, another 2 weeks to review this before it comes up for a final vote. So this is just an introduction right now. I know if people have questions, I'm sure Mr. Landgraf will make himself available, and then to make sure that we all feel comfortable in moving forward and updating our ordinance. All right, if there's no further questions or comments, can we have roll call?
You,
Yes.
Thierry,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon.
Lance, I just want to say thanks for everything you're doing. You always do a good job. I appreciate it, and I say yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Again, Lance, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming out and answering some questions for us, and I vote yes.
Motion carried.
Anytime, Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
We appreciate it. We have ordinance number 6 of 220, which is an introduction, and this is a removal of a handicap parking space at 306 West Evans Boulevard. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
You,
Yes.
Thierry,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We have resolution 220-104, and this is the approval to submit a municipal aid grant, and this is MA-2021 Revere Boulevard 00319. We have a motion and second.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
John, can you give us an update on what we're doing on Revere? I don't know if it will be John or Jim for the paving for Revere.
I don't think it's quite made it to John Doring yet.
I apologize, John. John's usually in charge of everything, so he's my go-to guy. I'm sorry, Jim. Go ahead.
Quite all right, Deputy Mayor. This is something that the city engineer had approached me about. There's $151 million out there for federal municipal grant aids. It is road projects, so we could refurbish, resurface, repave, whatever you'd like to call it, Revere Boulevard, fix some curb work, repair, replace any of the curb cuts that don't have the ADA ramps on them with this money. We don't know what the total is and probably won't until it gets awarded.
And we've participated in these grants before?
Yes, we have many times over the years. Some of the paving and curb work that we've done has been covered by it. The Beach Avenue work that we did with all the ADA curb ramps was municipal aid.
Oh, that's perfect. And this does not require local match, is that correct?
That is correct.
Perfect, thank you. Is there any questions, I guess, or comments from council? All right, seeing none, can we have roll call?
You,
Yes.
Thierry,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Lucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
So we have resolution 2020-105, and this is a work change order for the sewer repair Lighthouse Circle. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so now do I go to John?
Yes, Deputy Mayor, this should be handled by Superintendent Doring.
Okay, perfect.
Deputy Mayor, this is the work that we did around the lighthouse, under the lighthouse. We went $15,000 over on some of the work. That's what this is for.
All right, perfect. Any questions or comments from council?
Yeah, this is Rick. John, was this design work or actual construction work that went over?
Design work, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments? All right, can we have roll call?
You?
Yeah.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Carried.
We have resolution 220-106. This is an award of contract for HVAC maintenance service and repair. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments from council? All right. And can we have roll call?
You?
Yes.
Thierry?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Motion carried.
We have resolution 220-107, and this authorizing the appointment of special law enforcement officers for the police department. We have a motion and second.
I'll make
So
that.
moved. Second.
And this is important for us. In the summer, we get really crowded and busy here on the island, and our specials really help out with our beaches and our other areas here in the island and really help us to maintain the safety and good public relations within the community. Any questions or comments?
Just obviously, like you just to reiterate what you said, Vince, just something obviously we need this time of the year, and I'm sure we got two good men coming aboard. Thank you.
All right, can we have roll call?
You?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Motion carried.
We have resolution 220-108 to award of contract for emergency sewer repairs. Can we have a motion and second?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, perfect. Can we have Superintendent Doring? Can you give us an update on this?
Yes, as you know, we've been having some issues on Bayshore Avenue from 14th Street to Sheridan Square. This is to repair one of our issues there. We did 13th Street South. Last month was a short stubby that we had some failure in, and this is another repair.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Being none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We're going to skip number 14. It was a duplicate, so we're going to move to 15. Resolution 220-110, award of contract. And this is replacement of the sewer grinder unit. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Superintendent Doring, we'll go right back to you.
This is exactly what it says. It is for a grinder. We call them muffin monsters that grind the sewage when it comes into the lift station, sir.
All right, perfect. Any questions from comment or questions from council?
I think he summed it up pretty well. Thank you.
You did a great job, absolutely. We have roll call.
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes. Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We have resolution 220-111, and this is the authorizing of an upfit for 2 police vehicles. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Moved. So moved.
Jim or Chief Casamento, I don't know if either one of you want to comment on this.
I'll take it, Deputy Mayor. When the police and the fire, to a lesser extent, order vehicles, they get just that. It's just the vehicle itself with no lights, radio, computers, cages, anything like that. The upfitting is done by a third-party company where they install all the equipment that the police need and get them ready for patrol use.
All right, and these are vehicles we already purchased, right? We're not purchasing new vehicles at this time?
No, these are vehicles that were purchased, ordered some time ago. They've been in, and they were finally able to get the upfitting done and put them into the fleet.
All right, perfect. Is there any other questions or comments from council? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We have resolution 220-112, and this is for general maintenance and repair for various city projects. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
And Superintendent Doring, can you give us an update or a little insight on this?
Yes, sir. This is the pay-to-play paperwork that we received from Jersey Architectural Door and Supply. They do all of our windows, doors, and right now we're in the process of replacing some interior windows on different offices because of the coronavirus. We're changing them from slides to drawers.
Perfect. Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 220-113. This is a rental registration refund. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 220-114. This is the cancellation of real estate taxes. Can we have a motion and second?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and this is for a 100% disabled veteran, and this is something we've participated in this state program for a long time, and it's, you know, something we're very proud to do for the people who have always defended our nations and kept us safe. Is there any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
You,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 220-115, authorizing advertisements for bids for the lease of the water tower for the installation of a wireless communication corral. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Jim, can you give us a little information on this?
Deputy Mayor, this is a project that's been kind of sitting around for a couple of years now. We're finally able to get it cleaned up. The city was approached by Verizon Wireless with a request to install a corral, which is basically a fence. It looks like a fence sitting on top of the water tower to put their equipment and other items up there. Under state law, federal law, purchasing law, probably we can't just let them do that. So we put it out to bid. So between myself, Fred, and some third-party vendors, we're able to put the RFP out. We'll be soliciting for bids pending approval of this. What will happen is the various cell companies will construct this fence, if you will, up on top of the water tower, remove all of the antennas that are on the sides of the tower now. Everything will be up top there along with the public safety radio system.
Will this help to improve our cell service here in Brigantine? I know especially on the north end, there's some areas with some spotty service.
It should, yes. Currently, we have AT&T and T-Mobile up there. We've gotten activity from Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. So there's a better chance than not that not only will it help the north end's coverage, but it will also be the new 5G equipment. They won't be putting in the 4G LTE equipment.
That's really good news. Any questions or comments from council? And this is something similar we see in other communities, right? Like I know our
Yes, it's very similar. You see them in other communities. This is a variation of that tower that we have here and the fake cell phone trees that you see up on the expressway and the parkway. It's just we have water towers with good height that helps get the signals out as best as possible. So they try and do that before they move to put another tower in.
perfect. All right,
I know this project's been in the works for quite a while, talking behind the scenes, and I know the North End area really needs a boost in their cell phone towers. Thanks.
Is the city compensated for the use of the water tower?
Yes, we are. We receive monthly checks from the two current vendors. And once we get the bids back, we will execute a contract with whoever the winning bidder is to pay us for the use of the water tower. And they will in turn collect the rent for the other services that are on there with them.
Thank you.
is there any other council comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
You,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes, sorry about that.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 220-116, this is a Public Works refund. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
You,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon, Reardon,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next up, we have our council manager and committee discussions. I guess we'll start off with our first ward council person, Karen Beal.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Everything is looking great at the golf course. There's been a lot of play now that they're back to scheduling tee times for foursomes at 8-minute intervals instead of what had been prior with twosomes at 16 minutes apart. So they are gaining a lot of extra revenue that way. The groundskeepers are getting the course into excellent shape. And the Cove Restaurant is planning outdoor dining with takeout service for both food and beverages. And also the Pro Shop is now open for walk-ins. I'd also give a farmer's market update. We're really excited to open our market this Saturday, June 20th, at our Brigantine Community School parking lot at Roosevelt and Sheridan. Just look for the farthest water tower on the island and aim for that. The market will be open from 8 until noon. Parking will be available in the lot by the auditorium entrance, the one closest to the water tower. You can also park along the streets, and the city has temporarily lifted the one side only parking on Lafayette Place. The street is normally one side only with bus parking on the school side. So that'll give an additional good amount of spots for shoppers. Members of the committee visited the residents in the neighborhood last week, giving them a heads up and received many, many positive comments. They are anticipating well over 40 vendors, crafters, artisans. We're really excited about it. Volunteers will be monitoring the shoppers to make sure all social distancing measures are being followed. And vendors must wear masks and have hand sanitizer available. And shoppers are encouraged to wear masks as well. Although this market is won't be our typical weekly social event as it has been in the past, we hope to be able to return to Hahnemann Park next year and get back to having fun as we have in so many years past. So we're really excited about getting this moving forward and anticipate a beautiful day for our opening market. And that's about it.
That's really exciting. And, Karen, I want to thank you and John and Jeanette and everybody from the Farmers Market Committee for the hard work that all of you guys put in to make this year's market possible. I know we had to make a lot of changes and really appreciate everything that you guys have done to keep this tradition going. And I really appreciate that the Farmers Market Committee took time to go out into the community, to knock on doors and to talk to people and communicate what it is we're doing and what's going on. And I'm glad we got a positive response. So thank you all for that work.
We've had great cooperation from John Doring in Public Works and all our public safety departments. And I'm sure it's going to be a great event.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. I can't wait.
Yep.
Next up, we have our second ward councilman, Paul Lettieri.
Yes, good afternoon. First, I'd like to thank John Doring and his crews for the excellent job that they did opening the promenade. Everybody knows now that it is open and people have been enjoying it, especially our handicapped citizens. There are a few issues that I've been informed of, and I tried to check out most of them myself over the weekend. One was there wasn't enough porta potties at the north end, so John had an additional porta potty and increased the number of cleanings that the porta potties would receive. He also added trash receptacles. While I was down there and I talked to some campers that are there overnight sometimes, and I informed them that they had to be actively fishing, and they all agreed that they would. Some semblance of fishing anyway if they were staying overnight. The other thing I noticed, there were quite a few dogs off the leash in that area. I know we allowed dogs in there, but people had dogs running, loose all while I was down there, almost to the point where they crossed in front of the trucks coming down the beach, running all over the dunes. So we need to be more diligent about controlling our animals if you want to be allowed to use that area of the beach for running your dogs. So please be, cognizant of other people and try to follow the rules. It would be greatly appreciated. Also, at the promenade, there were several crosswalks that I was involved in getting installed last year so that the people could cross safely to the promenade. And I actually went out there last weekend and put cones in the things, and people just drive right over the cone, or they'll move the cone out of the way and park on top of the crosswalk. So it would be greatly appreciated if you respect the crosswalks so that people can cross, handicapped, families with children and beach items use those crosswalks all day long and into the evening. So be careful in that area. That's all I have.
Perfect. Thank you. Next up, our third ward councilperson, Dennis Haney.
Thank you, Vince. First, I just want to thank Karen as well for all the hard work you put into that, Karen. I know that takes up a lot of time, and your dedication is we're really appreciative of it. It's such a big event, the farmers market, and it just draws so many people, and it's just a great family thing. And it's just great for whatever you might have, whether someone just wants to do a little shopping down there for some food, or they want to check out some of the knickknacks down there. So I thank you for that. I think you touched all the bases, and I know Vince spoke about a couple things as well. I know our last Zoom meeting, Lori and Bill Mayer, who the proprietors of Clam Daddies, who have been a mainstay down at the farmers market for a long time, someone posted a little letter on their behalf on the chat room, and just to get it up to, hoping that everything would get up to snuff and we could return to something that would be as close to what we've had in the past. And so I really know that you did an excellent job with that, Karen. And hopefully in the near future, at some point in time, we get back to what we regularly had. This past Saturday, I spoke to the residents of the Brigantine Island Beach Resort. Dave Roundtree contacted me. He's the president of the board. And it was a nice little session. The residents had some questions there regarding a few things. Everything was pretty much answered. One of the topics that did pop up was the CER, and I did speak to Vince about that. I know maybe there was a meeting, or possibly there may have been a meeting at the county. I don't know, maybe it might not be for another day or two yet, Vince, or for all I know, maybe it was postponed to next week, but maybe you can touch on that if in fact there is anything yet that we could provide to those people. The other thing, next thing I'd like to talk about is I really want to, early congratulations of sorts to Robin Taylor for all her work at the Aquatic Center. A real pillar in our community. So many children and adults have swam there, and come this Monday, hopefully, I know she's probably busy as can be, and hopefully she can get her operation back exactly to where she wants it. I know she's been working hard, and she's probably, I'm sure she's probably right there right now. So I also spoke to Joe Smith, owner of our Brigantine Ace Hardware, a real gentleman. And I'd also, I think last meeting, mentioned that I spoke to the general manager at Ace and just how they had worked on getting more people in the store, adjusting to the executive orders and things of that nature. So things are moving very well there, and I appreciate that time with Joe. I was talking to him probably for about 20 minutes on the phone. He's a real gentleman. And lastly, I just want to say to everybody, with this past Monday, with everything opening up with our outdoor dining and restaurants, whether you just want to go out and grab a little bite to eat, a soda and a piece of pizza, or you want to go out to have a couple drinks and dinner, whatever it might be. All the places in our town obviously have done a good job. I know Mike Reardon alluded to stopping by and speaking to a lot of the merchants and things of that nature. And I was out and about myself this week. I plan on getting out this weekend. Just within the third ward itself, there's a number of places in the Lighthouse District, but they're all over our island. Obviously, you go down by City Hall and the Central Business District. It's just great to get out there. So I wish everybody a good weekend and stop by one of our businesses, get out to the farmers market, just have a fun time. All right, that's all I got. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Dennis. Next, we have Rick DeLucre, our fourth ward councilperson.
Thank you, Vince. I'm going to pick up just on one point each from Karen, Paul, and Dennis. all of whose remarks I join in and appreciate. Although it's hard to tell, maybe from the weather we've had this past week, we are right at the brink of our summer season. And the farmers market's a big part of that. And we're all delighted that they're able to bring it back, even if it's in a somewhat different form, maybe for this year. Personally, I'm going to miss the breakdown crew, chance to hang out with Sid Morgan each week, but that's my personal sacrifice. So we hope, great success for the farmers market, and everybody, please, go by, check it out. And I think you'll find the same range of goods and services that everybody's loved in years past. Paul makes a really good point as far as the dogs. Unfortunately, and I don't know if I'm the main recipient of this for some reason, but I get a lot of complaints when there are dogs on the beach, which, as we all know, this time of year, you can't be on the beach at all, except in the small dog beach area to the north of the seawall. Please take that to heart, everybody. You just can't have your dog there. It's not permitted, and it's going to cause problems directly, maybe for you if you get a ticket, but problems for the other beachgoers. This is the time of year when dogs have to take a back seat. You can't be on the beach, and certainly you can never have a dog off leash. I think that goes without saying. Dennis, encouraging people to get out and dine, and he's 100% right. This past weekend, I saw folks at a couple different places in town putting together their outdoor dining arrangements. Joe Crilly and Jack at the Cove working hard, building picnic tables and setting up out in the parking lot area. And it's going to be nice. It's something different that we haven't experienced before, and maybe we wouldn't have done it but for the necessity of doing it. But I think it's going to be fun. And when you do it, I encourage everybody to do it. Please wear your masks wherever you need to wear masks. It's a simple step that we can all take to make sure that we don't have a resurgence of the virus. And it's not that big an inconvenience, and we know that it works. So please, let's all be smart and have the best summer we can have without unnecessary risk of backsliding due to the virus. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Rick. Next up, we have our Councilman at Large, Mike Reardon.
Thanks, Vince. First of all, I'd like to say thanks for everyone tuning in here today. Once again, good crowd. I know we expanded our the amount of people we can have on Zoom here today, and it looks like we didn't need that expansion right now. But we're ready for all sizes of crowds, and we appreciate the participation. So thanks again to everyone who's Zoomed in here today. Second of all, I'd like to congratulate our 2020 graduates. There's been a really festive mood around the island with the 8th grade graduates, the high school graduates, even a few college graduates. And it's great to see, and I want to say congratulations to all our graduates. The 8th grade graduation group getting together up there on the beach and the seawall was great to see. It was, I believe, just a very good thing to see. Karen, Paul, and I were up there with them all, and it looked good. So, and I know, Vince, you were around to each individual graduate with the truck. That was that. So, as Vince and as Dennis and Rick mentioned about the outdoor dining from the Economic Development Commission standpoint, the different establishments were fabulous. They all submitted their plans. There was a few last minute things that we got straightened out between alcohol ABC issues and just planning issues. So I want to thank Fred Cerny for putting the paperwork together on that, and when we started out, and also Jimmy Bennett. Thank you. I don't know if you want to mention anything, Jimmy, about the issues and what's going on.
Thanks, Mike. I'll try and keep it short. Long story short, we were authorized by the GIF to allow restaurants only to intrude into our right-of-ways, which is the sidewalks typically in front of or next to the restaurants. So we got forms. We sent them out along with another letter explaining to them that if they wanted to take part in this, submit some drawings, your insurance, and off we go. Every restaurant sent us good plans. There should be no impediments to the sidewalks. There's a minimum of 36 inches. Most are around 48 inches. And with regards to the alcohol, that was a separate thing issued by the state ABC. Came out the week before last or the end of last week and said they're going to issue a one-time temporary permit. So again, they went online, all the proprietors, they filled out the forms, we approved them, and pretty much everybody that has a liquor license is going to be able to serve alcohol now at their outside seating. And we did issue some temporary zoning variances as well. So folks may see tables set up in parking lots of some of these restaurants, like the Cellar in the Cove, I believe, took advantage of it. And again, that was a temporary thing that I issued in conjunction with Mark Coyne, and after consulting with him and Matt, our engineer.
Thanks, Jimmy. So as, you know, it was just great to see once the places opened up, and not only the restaurants, but some of the clubs on the island, including the Elks, the VFW and the Legion have set up and done things there for the members to enjoy. And at a time when we need to get creative, we certainly have. And until we can start eating indoors again, I think we'll all enjoy what we have right now. So summertime is here. It's great that the golf tee times have been cut back, and it's hard. I know the men's league couldn't run the league with 16-minute separation to tee time, so they're looking forward to getting the second half of the season going. The seawall has been wonderful since it reopened. That's good with the cones, Paul. I've seen it up there every morning. And that's basically, that's all I got. So I want to just say, enjoy the rest of the summer to everybody, and thanks for tuning in. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. You know, thank you for all the hard work you've done to really put our business community in a good position. I know that you and our Chamber of Commerce President Angela Reynolds really got ahead of this early and put us in a strong position. So I'm going to thank the both of you. And it's a good partnership that we have.
Thanks, Vince. I meant to mention Angela at the Chamber of Commerce, and of course, John Doring is always a great help. The main guy.
We're very lucky. We have a very good team, and it goes, you know, beyond council and even beyond our employees into the community. So we have good partnerships there. I just want to send a special thank you out to our teachers, our staff, and our administration at our Brigantine Community Schools. I know these were very, very challenging times, and I think everybody pulled together really well. One, to have a successful school year, but two, to make a successful end of the year, especially with our 8th grade families. You know, graduating 8th grade is a big milestone. And I really want to thank our superintendent, Glenn Robbins, and our principal, Kathy Fox. I know they went to make sure that everybody had a graduation. They actually did like 58 individual graduations and actually drove to every single 8th grader's home. We had a nice sign truck out there. They did a little service and a little ceremony for each family. And I really think it shows the dedication that we have in that school. And I know there was a lot of work that went into planning and organizing that, and also the teacher parade at the end of the day was really, really perfect. So I do want to thank everybody for what they did, you know, for our Brigantine families. Wanted to go over something real quick. I know there's some people who've had some confusion with the upcoming primary election. Our primary election has been moved to July 7th. This is going to be a vote by mail primary. So if you're a registered Democrat or registered Republican, you should have been mailed an absentee ballot. We're voting completely by absentee ballot. I know some people received them and threw them away because they didn't know what was going on. We are going to have our normal polling locations open, but this year what's different is the only way that you're able to vote on the machines is if you have some type of certified or documented disability. Other than that, the state is asking everybody to vote by mail. If you had a situation where either A, you didn't receive your ballot because there's a couple of people who didn't receive them, or you didn't understand what was going on and threw it away, you can go to your polling location. You can vote by provisional, and those provisionals will be counted as they normally are. Polling times are, as usual, they are 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. on July 7th, and we're encouraging everyone now to make sure that they return those ballots.
Ben, can I just jump in on that real quickly?
Absolutely, please.
I did not receive a mail-in ballot. My husband and my mom received theirs last week. Mine still hadn't come. I called the number that is on the bottom of the letter that is included in it. And they got right back to me this morning, and they did not know why there was some glitch, why I was eliminated from the list. However, even though my name was on the ballot, they have put me back into the system, and I will be receiving it. So I just want to give everybody the number of the Atlanta County Board of Elections. They got right back to me within 10, 15 minutes. It's 609-625-7000. 609-625-7000. And it is extension 5232. And they were really great in handling it well. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Karen, and thank you for sharing the number. I wanted to see too if we could look into on Brant Road. We used to have a beach mat that I think went through the dunes and stuff there, and I want to see if we could look into potentially putting one back there. I just wanted to kind of put that out there and see where we were with that. Also, Jim, do we have an update on when City Hall will be reopening to the public?
Deputy Mayor, yes. We will be reopening to the public Monday morning, so June 22nd. Be back to normal business hours, 8:30 to 4:30. Only the front double doors coming into City Hall will be open. So the back side there where fire prevention and construction are will remain closed. Everybody that comes into City Hall must have a mask on. If you don't have a mask on, you'll be asked to leave. We're going to have an attendant, if you will, at the front desk there. She'll stop, ask you where you're going to go, and give you the right door number to go down to. We're going to see how traffic flows and how much we have coming in. But quite frankly, if we get too many people, we're going to institute limits, meaning that, if somebody's at the tax office, only one other person can go stand in line behind them. Same thing with the clerk or any other office. We have made provisions for all of our employees to make them as safe as possible. We have sneeze guards in. The doors will all remain locked to the various offices. And we should be ready to go for Monday morning. We'll just ask for everybody's patience when we reopen for the first time in a couple of months.
Perfect, thank you. And then I know at the last council meeting, we had some discussion about trying to reopen our sports fields and some of our outdoor recreation or sports facilities. And I believe under Executive Order 148, the governor is allowing non-contact outdoor sports and activities to continue. Had a good discussion with the governor's office about that last night, and they believed that we should be able to open our fields on June 22nd as long as people practice good social distancing procedures. They said they're also looking at the first or second week of July, and I do think the state was put out, I just don't remember, where contact sports and organized sports can continue. So I'm going to see if we could make sure that on June 22nd, we're prepared and ready to open so we can get our kids back out on the fields and get them exercising and ready. For our community center, we're looking to do a phased-in opening. Our CER summer classes are going to begin on or about Monday, July 6th. The community center is going to open its doors, though, on June 29th, so people can sign up for the summer CER classes and programs. So we're just opening on June 29th, so people can come in and sign up and get ready for the programs. Sign-ups are going to run June 29th through July 3rd. The community center is going to implement strict social distancing practices during those sign-ups. And Jim, I'm going to see if Jim Bogan or the CER staff could put something out on their social media pages, just letting people know what the procedures are so people are prepared when they show up to sign up for those classes. The other thing, and I know Councilman Haney talked about this, and this is something we've been back and forth about, is our senior meals program. We're waiting. The county is supposed to have a meeting sometime this week to talk about how they move forward with that project and with that program. So we're waiting to hear back an update from the county on what their decision is. My understanding right now is that they're doing home deliveries of those meals to make sure that our seniors get those meals. But a big aspect of that is the socialization and coming together and just spending time with some people. So we want to see where we are with that program and get that up. I know our community center staff has a good plan put in place to keep everybody safe and to have good social distancing practices down there. So hopefully we'll get an update on that soon. The other thing that's come up too, we spent a lot of time with this last summer, but I think it's important to start reminding people again that the Atlantic City Electric is going to be starting their big power line project, and that's going to begin this fall. We had a number of public meetings about the project last summer. I know the ACE staff went out to the community where the project's going to be. They went out, they spoke with residents, they knocked on doors. If somebody didn't answer, they left little door knockers with information. I know we've posted a lot of information about that. One of the things that I'm very proud of, and Mayor Simpson had a lot to do with this, is there was some concern about the size of the poles, the utility poles that were going to run down the boulevard. Mayor Simpson stayed on top of this, and it actually worked out in our favor that the soil there wasn't conducive to having those big poles, and Atlantic City Electric is going to be running underground lines down the center median strip of the boulevard. So that was really big, and I really thank Mayor Simpson for staying on top of that and really advocating for Brigantine. The whole project isn't going to be underground lines. I know the majority is, but I think where it makes the turn on Lagoon Boulevard, where it makes the turn on Lagoon and 38th Street, I have to look at that, but I believe it will come above ground at some point there. So I wanted to see if we could maybe get someone from Atlantic City Electric to provide some type of update on the project at one of our council meetings, especially too if we're doing the Zoom council meetings. I think it's really easy to have somebody come in. So Jim, if you could reach out and maybe we can get somebody to come in and just do a presentation and do an update just to keep the community informed of where that project is. And our last thing I had a good opportunity last night to speak with the governor's office about in-person dining. I know right now, Mike and Angela have done a good job of really getting the outdoor dining going, but we want to make sure that we help our business community. And this is something that was advocated for by a number of South Jersey mayors. The governor is looking to start a phase-in of indoor dining somewhere in the beginning of July. So I don't think an official announcement has come out, but the governor recognizes the importance of helping our business community, especially in our shore towns. The governor hasn't released any specific numbers, but they said they're going to start off with a small percentage of indoor occupancy. They're going to evaluate every 2 weeks. If there's no major spikes in COVID cases statewide, they're going to increase those numbers every 2 weeks to try to get our businesses as close to 100% as possible. One of the proposals that was put out by a couple of our other South Jersey mayors was that while we're doing this increase, because I think the outdoor dining only continues into September, they asked for the outdoor dining to continue somewhere into October or November. So this way, if they had 50% occupancy inside and 50% occupancy outside, that they would be as close to 100% as possible. The governor said he would consider that proposal. One of his fears, though, the data that they're looking at right now is in some of the states where they have opened up indoor dining without restrictions and without a phase-in. They said that there was a huge increase in the number of COVID cases, and somehow it's been linked to opening too fast. So the governor said he wants to open things slowly because his greatest fear is if something happened or something came up that he would have to roll things backwards, and he doesn't want to do that. He wants to make sure that as we move forward, we continue to move forward and don't go backwards. And there were a number of South Jersey mayors who told the governor, if we don't handle this correctly and we don't move forward correctly, there is no way that any of our communities would go back to some kind of shutdown or some type of lockdown in the community. So, we need to make sure that these decisions are made correctly and made well so we can continue to move forward and get people back to their normal lives. The governor said he understood that and he would do everything in his power to keep us moving forward. So I just want to give that update out there and just let people know where we are with that. Jim, do you have anything for us?
Deputy Mayor, I do not. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open it up to public comment. So Jim, if we could open it up to public comment, and this is, you can comment on anything at this time.
All right, so anybody that wishes to address council, either wave your hand or unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record, and then go with your question.
Jim, I see Shirley Morgan, it looks like.
Hi, Shirley Morgan. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
4800 Harbor Beach Boulevard, Brigantine. First of all, thank you very much, Vince. You always answer when I ask you a question. I appreciate it. And you brought up about the mats. It's very difficult for us to walk down the path at Brant because the sand, it's just hard for us. And the pools are closed and it lets us come to the beach. So you did address that. Thank you. Very, very briefly, I'd like to thank the city, the council for everything that they're doing during this very, very stressful time. I know some people take it very seriously. I know some people don't. I think the people that don't maybe should consider the people that do. I would like to thank the police, and I would like to thank the firemen, Public Works, and I want the police to know that we are 100% behind them, and we appreciate everything they do in making our lives here such wonderful lives. We thank you all, and we God bless you.
Thank you, Shirley.
Thanks, Shirley and Sid.
You're welcome.
Deputy Mayor, I don't see anybody else trying to get my attention, or nobody else is unmuted so far.
Perfect. All right, then at this time, we'll close public comment. Are there any final council comments?
Vince, I'd just like to add that I mentioned the different areas that everything that's opened up, and Paul just his remarks about the seawall and the promenade there reminded me that that's such a beautiful island, beautiful area of our island as well, and there's some fine dining up there as well. So I wanted to touch all the bases on our whole beautiful island regarding this, everybody getting out and about. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Dennis. Any other comments? All right, then we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today on our Zoom council meeting, and I look forward to seeing everybody out in the community and on our next meeting. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day.
Bye.
Aye.
All right.